Honorable guests, speakers, parallel presenters, and all participants in Zoom meeting room and the audience who are watching live streaming on YouTube. We are honored by your presence. In this conference, we have many parallel presenters from abroad such as Huiza School China, Lincoln University College Malaysia, Van Lang University Vietnam, Gombe State University Nigeria, and many presenters from state and private universities in Indonesia with full respect who cannot be mentioned one by one. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our privilege to welcome you to the first International Conference on Research in Social Sciences and Humanities, or the first ICOR-SH 2020. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and merciful, all praises to Him for His blessing that we are able to attend this highly anticipated event in online conference by Zoom platform. To embrace the first ICOR-SH often the theme, Building Quality Human Resources Through Research and Innovation Toward Society 5.0, today, October 28, 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference is organized by Institute for Research and Community Services of Universitas Pamulang with the co-host organizer Stika Studia Dharma Husada, STEMIC RSA, Institut Pendidikan Indonesia Garut, Universitas Lambung Mangkurat, Universitas Al-Muslim, Universitas Muhammadiyah Tasikmalaya, Universitas Pelita Bangsa, Lincoln University College, and Polytechnic Malaysia. And this event is broadcast live streaming on YouTube. My name is Eka Margianti Sagimin as your master of ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to roll call our agenda today. The first is opening ceremony, continued by opening prayers and Indonesia national anthem, welcoming speech by organizing committee, opening and inaugurating remark by rector of Universitas Pamulang, invited speakers and plenary presentation, then parallel session and closing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's start our agenda by saying Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Next agenda is reciting Holy Quran and opening prayer by Qari Ustadz Haji Sofyan Hadi MA. Mr. Sofyan, the microphone is yours.
Thank you so much, Bu Eka. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب. الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم قلوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك
Nampaknya ada gangguan.
Ya, nampaknya sepertinya ada gangguan sinyal dari Pak Sofyan Hadi.
سبحانك الذي يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا
Sepertinya Pak Sofyan ada gangguan sinyal. Ya, beliau tidak nampak kembali di layar Zoom. Mohon izin Pak Rektor, kita tunggu beberapa menit. Jika tidak ada, kita lanjut ke lagu Indonesia Raya. Baik Bapak Ibu hadirin, mohon maaf ada gangguan sinyal dari Bapak Sofyan. Acara kita lanjutkan kembali. The following agenda is Indonesia National Anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia Raya. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, opening prayer by Ustadz Haji Sofyan Hadi MA. Pak Sofyan, are you there?
Thank you.
Yeah. Time is yours, Pak Sofyan, for opening prayer. Doa.
So, okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Astaghfirullahalazim. لك الحمد يا مولانا يا معبود. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافي مزيده. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم ولعظيم سلطانك. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا ولوالدينا وارحمهما كما ربيانا صغارا ولجميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. اللهم أغننا بالعلم وزينا بالحلم وأكرمنا بالتقوى وجملنا بالعافية برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, perkaya kami dengan ilmu pengetahuan, hiasi kami dengan keluhuran budi akhlak mulia ya Allah. Jadikanlah kami senantiasa memegang teguh iman dan takwa, serta muliakan kami dengannya ya Allah. Indahkan kami pula dengan kesehatan lahir dan batin. Allahumma ya Allah, anugerahkanlah kami kekuatan untuk senantiasa memegang teguh iman dan takwa ya Allah. Anugerahkanlah kami ya Allah ilmu pengetahuan sehingga kami mampu membangun bangsa kami, membangun peradaban kami dengan berlandaskan iman dan takwa ya Allah. Serta berikanlah kekuatan untuk menguasai ilmu pengetahuan dan juga teknologi ya Allah untuk membangun peradaban, menjalankan tugas muliamu menjadi khalifah di muka bumi ini. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim wa tub alaina innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wasallam walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you Pak Sofyan. Terima kasih. Semoga acara hari ini berjalan dengan lancar. Amin. Amin. Ya Rabbal Alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, the following agenda is welcoming speech and report by organizing committee. Mr. Ibnu Sina, MSG, time is yours.
Thank you, Madam MC, Ms. Eka. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious and most merciful, I would like to greeting, salam to all of you with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And peace be upon to you all. Esteemed speaker, committees, and all participants of ICOR-SH 2020, we would like to extend our warmest welcome to all of the participants and sincere appreciation for your trust in Institute of Research and Community Service, University of Pamulang, to conduct this important event. This event presenting and discussing the latest innovation, result, and development in economic, management, education, government studies, international relations, law, political studies, hospitality, and other related topics. The ICOR-SH 2020 will be hosted as a fully virtual conference this year, which will be held via Zoom event platform. Your participation is central to the success of this type of conference, and we are looking forward to working with you to make this conference enjoyable and valuable as we can. The international conference held this time is joined by more than 6 provinces in Indonesia and 8 nations in the world, such as Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, India, China, Philippines, Nigeria, and Russia. And this will give a significant meaning in driving the progress of knowledge for all participants. Without your participation, this conference will not be as successful as it is. And I believe that we all take a lot of benefits from this conference. And I also believe that your contribution as a speaker or the participant will have an impact on the development of our country. I wish we will have an enjoyable conference. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Ibnu Sina. While opening and inaugurating speech, the first I-course by Rektor Universitas Pamulang. Please welcome Dr. Haji Dayat Hidayat, MM.
Baik, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Allahumma shalli ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi washabihi wa barik wasallam. Yang mulia dan dirahmati oleh Allah, Bapak Ketua Yayasan, rekan-rekan dari LP2M, panitia penyelenggaraan ICOR, dan semua para narasumber baik dalam negeri ataupun luar negeri, para peserta webinar kali ini. Alhamdulillah, bersyukur pada Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Ini hari kedua untuk pelaksanaan seminar internasional yang kita lakukan. Dan kami tentu dari jajaran rektorat mengapresiasi upaya-upaya yang dilakukan oleh teman-teman LP2M. Sekali lagi kami ucapkan terima kasih atas upaya-upaya yang dilakukan dalam rangka menyelenggarakan agenda-agenda akademik di kampus Universitas Pamulang. Yang kedua, kami ucapkan terima kasih kepada teman-teman para narasumber seluruhnya, baik dari Malaysia, Singapura, dari semuanya para narasumber. Dan yang paling pokok untuk kita semuanya adalah para peserta. Upaya yang dilakukan seminar internasional ini diharapkan memperoleh masukan pencerahan ilmu-ilmu terbarukan, informasi-informasi terbarukan, dan yang kemudian akan menjadi bahan kajian kita ke depan sehingga kita akan memperkaya hasanah ilmu pengetahuan yang dilakukan di pagi ini. Sekali lagi kami ucapkan terima kasih. Dan kemudian juga kepada teman-teman semuanya, baik kepada para peserta maupun para narasumber, Universitas Pamulang sangat senang kalau teman-teman semuanya bisa hadir nanti berkunjung ke Universitas Pamulang seperti apa kegiatan dan kita laksanakan seminar internasional itu di Universitas Pamulang langsung. Saya kira itu, selamat mengikuti kepada semua teman-teman. Terima kasih kepada panitia dan ingat luarannya kita jadikan sesuatu yang bernilai dan berharga untuk kita semuanya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Pak Rektor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the opening and inaugurating speech by Rector symbolizes that the first high course is officially open. Ladies and gentlemen, before going on to the next session, we kindly request you to witness and to be a part of our moments in photo session. I'd like to invite you to open the camera for the photo session, and we kindly ask the committee for assisting this session. Well, Pak Ibnu, silakan untuk mengambil foto.
Thank you, Madam. Please open up all your camera, all participants, and face to the camera. We have a 7 screen, and I request you to give our best style. You may stay like this. Okay. First screen, 1, 2, 3. Screen number 2, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Room number 3. Room number 4. Room number 5. Room number 6. And room number 7. And room number 8. Thank you, Ms. Eka. Back to you.
Welcome, Pak Ibnu Sina. Thank you for assisting us. Ya, hadirin yang kami hormati, ladies and gentlemen, it is delightful to have the invited speakers. The first, Dr. R.R. Dewi Anggraini, Master of Law, the fourth Vice Rector of Pamulang University. The second, Dr. Haji Muhammad Zahari Ismail, Director of Polytechnic Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz Shah, Malaysia. And the third, Professor Dr. Kirilova Galiza Ildasovna, Senior Lecturer, Kazan Federal University, Tatarstan, Russia. And the session will be moderated by Mr. Ibnu Sina, MSc. But before I call Mr. Ibnu, let me read his short profile. Ibnu Sina, MSc, is a Chief of Research at the Institute for Research and Community Service of Universitas Pamulang. He holds a Master of Science at Institute of Biological Science, Faculty of Science, University of Malaya, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He also active in seminars and workshops in Malaysia since 2001 until 2011 in Malaysia. And then his research mostly on biological pathogenicity and many more. And those articles were published in accredited and indexed Journal of National and International of Scopus and Web of Science. He holds a patent and intellectual properties rights and many more. Well, without further ado, let us invite Mr. Ibnu Sina, MSc, as a moderator. Mr. Ibnu,
Yeah.
microphone is yours. Time is yours.
All right. Thank you, Madam MC. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious and most merciful. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good morning to you all. Okay, as mentioned by the MC, I will be your moderator or chairman at this event. Some people say it's a moderator, some people call it chairman, whatever you call it, but I will lead this event from now until 2 or 3 hours ahead. Okay, our first speaker is Dr. R.R. Dewi Anggreni. Before we get started, let me introduce you Dr. R.R. Dewi Anggreni. Dr. R. Dewi Anggreni, born in Surabaya, May 5th, 1980, and her academic rank is associate professor. She was graduate from Bachelor of Law in 2002 from University of Pancasila in major of Law Science, and then got a Master of Law in 2004 from Muhammadiyah University of Jakarta, major Law Science, Economic Law, and she also got a Doctor of Law in 2015 from Institute of Jayabaya University, major Law Science. She had attended a professional training such as Advocate Professional Special Education, Brevet Tax Training, Intellectual Property Consultant Training, the Forum of International Protection, Geographical Indication, National Research Reviewer, Certified International Research Reviewer, and so on. She also has attended a conference and seminar, workshop, and symposium, such as a workshop on legal drafting, enhancing employees' competence and ethic awareness, and so on. If I read her curriculum vitae, it will take a long day. Okay, without further ado, I would like to call first invited speaker, Dr. R.R. Dewi Anggreni. Dr. Dewi Anggreni, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Ibnu, Miss Eka. May I share screen? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang terhormat Bapak Rektor Universitas Pamulang, Bapak Dr. Haji Dayat Hidayat MM, Honorable Dr. M. Zahari Ismail, Direktur Politeknik Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz, Honorable Professor Dr. Kirilova Galija Ildosovna from Kazan Federal University, Russia, Mr. Ali, committee, lecturers, and all participants. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity given to me to deliver my presentation. Mr. Juheri, can help? Next. Okay. Nowadays, as we know, self-motivation is really important to improve the quality of human resources, especially for us as lecturers in universities. Human resources is one of the most important factors which cannot be separated from an organization, both institution and companies. Human resources also the key that determines as the development of a company. Human resources are human who are employed in organization as operators, thinkers, and planners to achieve the goals of the organization. There are four things that I can deliver in this presentation. The first is about high quality human resource. Second one is about creative, innovative thinking, then self-motivation to conduct research, and the last is about strategies to improve research quality. Next, please. Good quality human resources must have the following criteria. First, tenacious, constantly trying to find solution accompanied by a diligent attitude. This tenacity will lead the person to a dedication of good quality work. Persistence will create something because people or good quality human resources will not stop if they have not produced something positive. Innovative. A superior human being, namely a creative person, who is always active in seeking new things. After that, honest. If someone is honest about what they can do and what they cannot do, that person will get the appropriate job responsibility. Next is dedicated. Dedicated person is a disciplined person because she or he will focus on what she or he wants to achieve. And committed. It means what has been promised or planned must be done or complete. So someone who has commitment will be responsible to something that has been planned or promised. Next. Perhaps we have a question in our mind. What is creativity? There are many definitions. According to Steinberg and Lubart, creativity is investing the skills and efforts of the individual into new high-quality ideas. Howard Gardner stated, creativity is an individual's ability to solve problems, produce products, and ask series of new and unique questions, which are different from what others have asked. Creativity is the ability to deal with new problems, shown by observing problematic events which other people have not thought of. Torrance points out, creativity is the process of creating ideas, hypotheses, and communicating the results. Creative thinking and innovative thinking in research. Creative is a process. Creative people are hard workers and they improve their ideas and solutions continuously by making gradual changes and improvement to their work. Myths or perhaps stereotype. The creative process must be something so amazing that it can produce a great things instantly. But actually, in reality, to utilize a new invention, the result of creative thinking, gradual improvement is still needed. Next. However, when we must to be creative, there must some obstacles that we have to manage. The reaction to emergence of a problem is often a bigger problem than the problem itself. The definition of problem, first, the difference between what is owned and what is wanted. Second, the understanding that there is something better than the current situation. Third, an opportunity to do better than what people have done. Something that we have to set in our mind is that a problem is an opportunity. Successful people are often good problem finders who turn problems into challenges and opportunities to solve them. Skeptic. This attitude is just the same as giving up before going to war, because skeptical person puts problem in an impossible place as if problem is a specter with unmatched strength. In fact, there are many examples that any impossible problems have been successfully solved. Real examples, humans are able to fly to the space, even to the moon. Human might travel to Mars. CPU chips can be made only 1-inch square in size, although it contains 40 million transistors. The characteristic, McCarthy makes the division of brain work function into the 2 hemispheres. To be creative and innovative, we must be able to synchronize the characteristic of both left brain and right brain. Left brain, first is logical thinking. Logical thinking can be seen as the key to the process of mental reservation and complex problem solving. Logical thinking constitutes one part of problem solving, which means that logical thinking is one of the substage of problem solving. For this reason, we might think that people who can solve complex problems have sufficient logical thinking abilities. We usually use our logical thinking when we get the ideas, information, or even our own experience. Sequential thinking can be described as the ability to process the information in orderly prescribed manner, which involves step-by-step progression, where a response to step must be obtained before another step is taken. Rational thinking is the ability to draw conclusions from data, rules, and logic. This means doing research and using information available to make rational decisions. Analytical thinking can be defined as the ability to identify and define problems, extract key information from data, and develop workable solutions for the problems identified in order to test and verify the cause of the problem, and develop solutions to resolve the problems identified. Analytical thinking involves logical thinking and sequential thinking. Objective thinking, the way to process the information based on fact, reasoning, and evidence. Critical thinking. Critical thinking is the ability to analyze and to get information. Reasoning and situation according to appropriate standards for the purpose of constructing sound and insightfully new knowledge, understandings, hypotheses, and belief. Critical thinking, the subject ability to process and synthesize information in such a way that enables them to apply judiciously to tasks for informed decision-making and effective problem-solving. Observing something as a part, this is like analytical thinking, which is about breaking information down into its part and examining the relationship of these parts. And right brain. Random thinking can be described as the way to process the information without following procedural steps, but still achieve the object. Random thinkers are also more impulse, which means they can do something suddenly and they don't take time to plan it. Instinctive thinking. Basically, instinctive thinking is the way of thinking that help us to understand reality in the moment. Without logic or analysis, it means going with our first instinct and reaching decision quickly based on automatic cognitive process. Holistic thinking is the ability to see things as a whole, to understand and predict the many different types of relationship between the many elements in a complex system, and also perceive the whole picture through sensing its large-scale patterns. Next, please. Synthesis thinking is the ability to complete information together in different way by combining elements, a pattern, proposing alternative solution of software. For example, requires synthesis thinking, subjective thinking, creative thinking, observing something as a whole. This is like holistic thinking, which the thing as a whole to understand the interconnected various components that from larger system. Why innovative thinking? Because we have to keep abreast of the times. Tomorrow must be better than today, and today must be better than yesterday. It means everything must always be improved continuously. And the consequence, everyone must also willing to participate in improving the quality of life in all fields. Anyone must be willing and able to be innovative. Next, we discuss about self-motivation to conduct research. What is motivation? Motivation is driving force by which humans achieve their goals. There are two kinds of motivation. First, intrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation refers to motivation that is driven by an interest or enjoyment in the task itself and exists within the individual rather than relying on any external pressure. Extrinsic motivation comes from outside of the individual grades, coercion, and threat of punishment. Next, please. If we want to do something, we have to do our best. Because if you do something ordinary, the result will be ordinary. If you do something maximal, the result will be perfect. Good research. Next, Pak Johari. Good research needs good idea or good imagination. We can get good idea and good imagination in any place and any time. Imagination is more powerful than knowledge. Imagination is the foundation to develop knowledge and technology. For example, the Wright brothers invented the aeroplane because they imagined that people can fly like a bird. We can motivate ourselves by training and function of the triune brain so that we can be more focused, confident, enthusiastic, creative, and innovative. There are some examples of our brain's function. Left brain for making decision, creativity, assessing, and planning. And then right brain for social, listening, feeling, language, old memories, attention, and emotion. Middle brain for instinct, repetition, and survival. Next, COPS model of experiential learning. We, as a researchers, can improve our motivation by implementing COPS model for experiential learning. Experiential learning is the method that can help us to relate the concept of the research with the real condition or based on experience. Next slide. In this slide, we can see that we are three strategies to improve our research quality. First, rigor. Rigor is inflexibility. Entirety and accuracy of method use. Researchers must work hard to collect information to be the most comprehensive data, which are analyzed into the fact. Basically, any information related to the topic or the problem of the research may not be left behind. And then credibility. Meaningful and well-presented findings. One of the research objectives is the developed knowledge that can be used for the benefit of the wider community. Writing a research report is essentially communicating the result of the research to readers, not to yourself. And the last, relevance. The use of things, the use of findings, this means the extent to which research findings are relevant to the problems or context and the phenomena which are being established. Research will provide invaluable experience, can improve self-quality, and contribute valuable work to society. For the community, research can become a trusted repository data, information, providing applied knowledge for various technical purposes. As the conclusion, research is systematic thinking about various types of problems, the solution of which requires the collection and interpretation of facts. Why is research important? Solving problems, clarifying, refuting previous research, convincing allegations that have previously been resolved. The object of research as scientific development, solving problems, anticipating problems, understanding problems, helping to gain new knowledge. So the object of the research, helping humans to improve their ability to interpret complex and related phenomena in society so that these phenomena are able to satisfy human curiosity. Well, that's all my presentation. Hope you find this useful and thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Dewi Anggreni, for the nice presentation. Okay, before we keep going to session question and answer, I would like to give some short briefing about what just Dr. Dewi had been told to us about the good quality human resources. It consists of creativity, thinking, and innovative thinking in research. Number two, negative attitude, obstructing creativity. And number three, self-motivation to conduct research. So the big question is, why is research so important? Because according to Dr. Dewi, she said that research can be solving problem, clarifying previous research, and conflicting allegation that have been told. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Dewi Anggreni. So I would like to open question and answer session. You may ask a question. Write down your question into the chat room, and then I will read it to Dr. Dewi. Is it okay, Dr. Dewi? All right. First question from Miss Anissa Rizki. Hello, Miss Dewi. I'm Anissa from UIN Jakarta. I'm very interested in your presentation. My question is, if we want to conduct research, how do we develop creativity and innovative ideas? Dr. Devi, please.
Yeah, from Anissa, thank you for the question. Well, developing creative and innovative ideas can be done by following several steps. First, watching and observing phenomena. As I mentioned before, that ideas can be obtained anywhere and anytime, including observing phenomena. After observing the phenomena, we think whether the phenomena can be to the object of our research or not. We can also involve our feeling in this stage. And the last step is action. After getting the ideas from the phenomena that we observe, we can conduct the research. Yeah, that's all. I hope this answer your question.
Thank you very much, Dr. Devi. Next question has come from Miss Nurdini Tilova from University of Mamulang. She asks, as a lecturer, what we must do to improve our student critical thinking? As a lecturer, what we must do to improve our student critical thinking? Dr. Devi, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ibnu. There are many ways to improve students' critical thinking. For example, using analogies and promote. Use analogies to promote interaction among students, ask open-ended questions, allow reflection time, use real-life problems, allow for thinking practice. That's all, my answer.
Right, thank you, Dr. Devi. So I ask the floor of all the participants in this conference, is there any question you'd like to share with us to Dr. Devi? Please raise up your hand or open your microphone. You may ask to Dr. Devi directly, please. Is there any question? So I think we all very clear about the good quality human resource come from the good quality of research. Thank you very much, Dr. Devi. We really appreciate of your coming because we all know that you are a very busy person and I believe you must do something else after this.
Thank you, Mr. Ibnu.
Yes, give a big applause to Dr. Devi. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, for the next invited speaker, Dr. Haji Muhammad Zahari Ismail. Are you with us, Dr. Haji?
Ya, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam, Datuk. Apa khabar?
Baik, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, lama tak jumpa.
Ya.
Alright, Doctor. Before we get started, let me read your CV first. Is it okay?
It's okay.
Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Haji Muhammad Zahari Ismail is a director of a Polytechnic Premier Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz Shah, Selangor, Malaysia. He received his PhD in management in 2010 from University of Hull, United Kingdom, and then Master in Business Administration 2002 from University Utara Malaysia, and Bachelor of Economics in 1989 from University Kebangsaan Malaysia. He had experience 29 years of experience in PVET education, specialized in the development of curriculum, design, and program structure, entrepreneurship ecosystem, academic leadership, training, research, and innovation ecosystem. He had established contact and network with industry and international institutions, especially in Asian countries. Doctor, are you ready?
Ya, insyaAllah.
Inshallah. All right. Doctor, the microphone is yours.
Terima kasih Mr. Ibnu. Terima kasih as well to the Ms. Eka. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning.
Waalaikumsalam.
Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala hadzal nabiyil karim wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. The Honorable Bapak Rektor Dr. Dayat Hidayat, my dear friends, Ibu Dr. Dewi Anggrani, our first keynotes, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Also, my dear participants today who are actually ready to move on our seminar today. First and foremost, I would like to thank to the UNPAM for inviting me to join this seminar. I really appreciate for your invitation. And congratulations as well to the UNPAM for organizing the ICOR-SH. And today, I would like to mention that my presentation is just to sharing my knowledge, to share my experience, what I'm doing just now on TVET or TVET, on Technical Vocational Education and Training Institution. I also want to mention about we are not the research university or research institute. We do training to produce semi-professional workers with high-end technology. So we normally produce the ready graduates for work actually. And then I also would like to mention about my presentation is very focused on what I'm doing in my institution and in Polytechnic and College Community Department in Malaysia. And next slide, please. Okay, next. Okay, this is my the content of my presentation. Number one, I want to touch about the society 5.0. Number two is Polytechnic Malaysia. Number three is preparing the expert. Next, we move to all the challenges. Number five is conclusion. And number six is way forward. And the title of my presentation is Preparing the Experts into Society 5.0, Experience and Challenge. I think that one in my first slide. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we start, what is 5.0? Better I make I clarify what means by society of life before we go what is a society 5.0. Normally when we talk about the quality of life, the people always refer to the quality environment, security, safety, wages, healthy standard of health, and so on and so forth. But nowadays we are facing the calamity happening worldwide, so-called as a pandemic COVID-19. So how can we increase or we maintain our quality of life by the days? So this will become, I think, yesterday also, one of our professors is talking about this matter. So as mentioned by Bapak Rector as well, we have to jaga diri kita and so on. And then this come very important topics need to be discussed actually. However, in terms of 5.0, what actually defined by the Ferreira and Serpa, the main purpose of society 5.0 is to enhance people quality of life. That's why I define what means by quality of life. By using the potential which is acquired by the industry 4.0. As we know that we also quite well known about what means by the industry 4.0 or 4IR. Normally we start our civilization by knowing that in the first stage, maybe we are in the barbarian stage. Let's say in the birth, we are hunting for food. Secondly, we go to agrarian society. We start planting for food. Next, we will move to the industrial society. In the industrial society, normally we started at the European countries. They started with the heavy and chemical industries, electricity, and so on and so forth. And then we move to the society 4.0. Society 4.0 in currently happened and it will move onwards. And then in society 4.0, we can see that there is the third industrial revolution, which we can see that industry automation, information, computer, internet, and so on, expand all over the world. And then it moved to the digital innovation about the artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, blockchains, and so on. This industry 4.0 will be based to the topic of discussion today on how we move to the society 5.0. Society 4.0 actually, this term was introduced by one of the our intelligence from Japan in the year 2018, and we are moving towards that, inshallah, for all our country. And then before I go forward, my next slide will discuss on the future workforce based on economic forum. This skill actually needed by all the countries, especially for the educationists. We really need this. What is the skill needed by the industry? What skill needed by the current industry, government, and so on and so forth. If I can go one by one, number one is we need analytical thinking and innovation. Number two is active learning and learning strategies. Number three is complex problem solving. Number four is critical thinking and analysis. Number five is creativity, originality, and initiative. Next is leadership and social influence. Next, technology use, monitoring and control, technology design and programming, resilience, stress tolerance, and flexibility. Last but not least is reasoning, problem solving, and ideation. This point comes from the World Economic Forum 2020. So all educationists, all the training institution should take this point in terms of designing a curriculum, in terms of offering a new program, and so on. And next, if we can see the job landscape, the job landscape is talking about by 2025, new jobs will emerge and others will be displaced by the shift in the division of labor between human and machines affecting. And then we can see that in general, 97 million will emerge and 85 million jobs will be decreased. Then if we can see from the screen, the most important demanding job, number one is data analysis and scientists. Number two, artificial intelligence and machine learning specialists. Number three, big data specialists, and so on and so forth. And a few jobs also will be decreased slowly. And next maybe will be demolished. Number one is data entry clerks, administrating and executive secretaries, accounting, bookkeeping, and so on and so forth. Meaning that we actually the education area have to be ready in terms of offering a new courses, a new program. It should be in line with the reported by the World Economic Forum. It should be based on this finding as well. So we actually in the polytechnic education system are moving towards this actually. Ladies and gentlemen, my next slide is about the readiness of Malaysia for Industry 4.0. If we can see that from the screen, Malaysia actually, if we go to the rank, they put there 7 out of 10. The potential Malaysia for readiness to the Industry 4.0, meaning that we are not far away from the developed countries such as Singapore, United States, France, Germany, Japan, and Korea. So we can see also Malaysia and our neighbor like Indonesia also. I think almost around in this figure. So number 5 to 7, we are not too high and not in the very low quadrant. Okay, next. Ladies and gentlemen, next we are talking about our role in Polytechnic Malaysia. So this is our role. Actually, I'm talking on behalf of Department of Polytechnic and Community Colleges Malaysia. In terms of we are TVET Higher Education in the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia. So we are providing students towards Society 5.0. This is our main discussion today for the industrial workforce. What are we doing now is to get ready our students to the Society 4.0. Okay. Before that, let me explain a bit about the polytechnic education system in Malaysia. Normally, in Malaysia, my next slide, please. We have 36 polytechnic, and then out of 36, we have 3 premier polytechnics. The 3 premier polytechnics included Polytechnic, my Polytechnic is now, and Polytechnic Unkurma, the eldest polytechnic in Malaysia, and we have 5 metro polytechnics. And then the program offered in the level of degree, diploma, pre-dips, and also we offer a special program for the handicapped students. And then in terms of college community, which is at par with the polytechnic, but in the small scale, we have now, currently we have 103 polytechnics. Altogether, we are in Malaysia, we have more or less 100,000 students, and we have 8,000 staff in Polytechnic Malaysia. Compared to Pamulang, I think we are far away. In Pamulang University itself, they have more than 80,000 students. So this is a little bit of Polytechnic Malaysia. And then we have also very strong collaboration with the industry, because our mantra actually, university meant for society, Polytechnic meant for industry, and community colleges meant for community. So we have to make a relationship with the industry. So far just now, we have around 490 industry doing collaboration with Earth, such as Petronas, Asia, and so on and so forth. And all together in our system, we have more than 60,000 industries who actually get involved in terms of existing our polytechnic and community colleges. Okay, next. We're talking about the how we can achieve our target, which is our target, our vision and mission is to have us strongly engaged with the industry. So we develop 7 actually strategy in terms of strengthening our collaboration with the industry. Number 1, the new concept introduced by we call it Tibet Council, which is our Tibet Council, actually personally chaired by our Prime Minister. And then this is some sort of recognition by the government to the polytechnic and college community. And then strategy number 1, what we use is place and train, which is before we use train and place, which is they are study in the polytechnic. Next, for the internship, they go to the industry. Now, there is no longer that, meaning that the student will be trained in industry, and at the same time, they come to the polytechnic and learn about the theory. Secondly, about the co-ownership model, which is we polytechnic and community college share with the industry to develop, either we develop a curriculum or we develop the medium of instruction, or we share together the model on how we can train our students. Number 3 is about the industry-based center for excellence. We have so many center of excellence. For instance, in Polytechnic Shah Alam, we have a center for medical electronic technology. So our niche area, we are focusing on medical electronic technology. So we are here, so-called as very expert in terms of calibration, in terms of equipment calibration. And we have actually a very strong collaboration with the industry. I will explain about this matter next in my slide presentation. And number 4, TVET valued industry partners. We are trying to find actually a few CEO or public figure from the industry to become part of our community, meaning that the industry person, like we call it some sort of CEO from the industry, come to our institution, give a talk, share their experience, their knowledge, to make sure that the student get new information, the student get the real life of work from the industry side. Next, our strategies is we are talking about the employment opportunities and which level. For the TVET or TVET graduates, we hope that they also get the salary. The salary they get should be in line or should be at par with their qualification. It means that, let's say in Malaysia, for diploma with skills, normally they will have around the RM 2,000 ringgit. Hopefully, our industry will satisfy with our graduates, and they will pay according to their skill and competence. Number 6 is about the industry-led competency certification bodies. This is we're trying to adapt and adopt the model used by the Germany, which is, as we know, Germany is a very developed countries, and 80% of their skilled workers come from the Tibet graduates, and then they establish, and this model we try to adopt in our country. I hope that this can be materialized very soon by our institution. And then last but not least is how the strategy on how we enhance our Tibet is a flat mobility of the expertise. Especially we are referred to the expert from the industry coming to our institution, and then they share the expertise, and then our staff also can be in the industry to share their knowledge and learn something from the industry. Okay, next. Next is about the where we are. Actually, we are starting our program in Tibet based on 11 mission plan. We're saying that by the year 2020, our country needs actually 1.5 million new jobs. And the ministry also asked us actually as premier higher education in Tibet to provide these skilled workers. And then we also at the department level, we have our own framework on how we produce our skilled workers in the agenda of, we call that in the umbrella of Tibet 4.0. And then if we can see that, it's very small to read. I think number one is we talk about six trusts, and we have 11 strategies and 6 outcomes targeted by our ministry. I will trying to translate this framework to the Polytechnic Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz Shah. Okay, next. Okay, this is what are we doing now in our institution, which is we are preparing the experts towards Society 5.0 innovation. Okay, next, please. Okay, actually by our institution, actually we are introduced one model, so-called as ILIPS model. So ILIPS model actually based on our national education philosophy, so-called as JERI in Malay, Jasmani, Emosi, Rohani, and Intellect. And then from JERI, we are translated to the our model as ILIPS. I stand for the innovation, L leadership, E entrepreneur, A academic excellence, P practical competence, and lastly is about the social responsibility. If we can see on the right, this is our model actually. And then our model also, we come up with a few strategy and initiative. And then can I take one of the example? Let's say entrepreneurship, because my area is entrepreneurship. So in terms of entrepreneurship, we try to develop a talents, and then our students should be no more job seeker, they should be a job creator. This is our principle, and we are trying to produce at least 8% of our graduates actually should be involved directly as entrepreneurs, meaning that this is a very tough job for us to carry on. And then our expected outcome from this model, we hope that this model will produce a competence and knowledge student, a competitive and resilient students, and our students also should be adaptive and they can go global. This model actually in the process of implementation, still in the early stage. Hopefully, it can be spread to all other institutions if we can show that we are excel or we success by using this model in terms of developing our students. Okay, next. Next, we are trying to talking about the ILIP models. Just say about that. Next, please. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, one of our success story is about the Center of Technology, and then Center of Technology in my polytechnics is a Center for Medical Electronic Technology. This is a one-stop collaboration center. Our core business is as a patient simulator, infusion pump analyzer, and so on and so forth. Next, please. Okay, this is in the still early in our institution as well. We call it FTech and robotic. This is also in line with the industry 4.0, which is FITech is talking about the how we curriculum development, medium of instruction by using latest technology in teaching and learning. And then this center, we hope that can come one of the ivory tower in our institution. And then we also now in the process of training our staff in the new media, and then secondly on the robotic, thirdly on the artificial intelligence and drone technology. And we are actually have quite many the expert in this particular area. And I would like to thanks to the Ministry of Higher Education as well for giving us a budget in terms of expanding our center, FITech and Robotics Center. Okay, next, this is about the grant what we receive from the government, which is we join together the polytechnics and industry in terms of developing a community. And then from this grant that we receive is quite many actually grant provided by our government in terms of we as educators, we as education institution joining with the industry in terms of develop our community. We hope that this kind of program should be strengthened and will be prolonged from time to time. Okay, next. This is about the big data. Big data, actually, we are trying to compile all the data, which is now our data, I think, is anywhere. And nobody knows how to pick up the data and then how to gather all the information. The problem arises whenever the auditors come to our institution. And then we having a problem of finding the information. That's why we are trying to develop a big data center in our institution. And then big data also as when by the time we have a big data, I think anybody can work from home. Just by one click, we can get all the information. So this is also indirectly also support to the world agenda under the sustainable development goals. We go green and so on. Okay, next. Okay, next. Next, please. Okay, this is a bit of our achievements. This is our leadership. Next, please. Society 5.0. Next, please. Why so many repetition? Okay, before that, about the entrepreneurship. No, before. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I also learned from the University of Pamulang. By the time I visit Pamulang University in the year 2018. And then I would like to thanks to the Pak Hidayat because of give me a chance to visit your campus before. And I learned something about the entrepreneurship in your campus, which is the successful students in business. They teach, they become a moderator, they become a motivator, they become instructor to the other students who actually interested in doing business. That concept also I brought from the Pamulang University. I'm trying to implement it in my institution. So far, we are quite new in terms of entrepreneurship compared to the Pamulang University. Okay, thanks very much on that, Pamulang University. Next. Okay, this is about the student entrepreneur. Next. This. Next. This is about teaching and learning. We are moving towards virtual reality education. In terms of teaching, just now, we are in the pandemic situation. So almost teaching and learning are doing online. Our lecturers, our students have to get ready. So, so far, after 6 months, we are managing it very well. And till now, teaching and learning online still ongoing. Okay, next. Next, about the dual certification, please. Okay, we are trying hard in terms of doing dual certification in between my campus, my polytechnic, and the other centers, such as now we are doing collaboration with JAKIM, or so-called Jabatan Kemajuan Islam Malaysia, which is next slide, please. Which is our student, my student here, they are giving a chance to getting a diploma or degree. At the same times, they also have opportunity to have another diploma or certificate. What we are doing now, they will get a diploma, and at the same time, they will get a certificate as a Hufaz in a Techno Hufaz program in our polytechnic. And then this kind of certification will be strengthened in the near future, inshallah. Okay, next. Okay, next, please. Okay, this is our new program that being implemented in our institution. which is so-called as the expert trainer. We should and the other agency collaborate in terms of doing a program such as reskilling, upskilling, new skilling for our lecturers and students. For the student, we call as finishing school. Under finishing school, we also bring them a top-up certificate in terms of the existing cert that they have. They also will be giving a chance to have another skill or competence during their study in the campus. Okay, next, please. This is practical competence. This is for example on actually. Next. Okay, this is about the social responsibility that we are doing just now with the community. Actually, we design, we develop, and completing a new project such as we build a house to the community. We assist the people who actually under or what we call at the level of B40, and then we are trying actually to have this kind of program in the near future. Okay, last but not least, maybe I can share about what is the challenges of having this kind of problem, this kind of program in my institution. Okay, next please. The challenges. The challenges is talking about the number one of difficulty of retrieving, analyzing, and sharing of information. Abundance of information from different sources, which is that's why we need the big data, as I mentioned earlier. Number two is a lack of skill to use advanced technology. For instance, the old school, it's actually is very hard to change. They need a time. So skill actually that we have now is not at par with the technology actually who actually very fast compared to us. And then this one also come a challenge to us. Number three, lack of connectivity in the work process. This is quite normal, happen all over the world. I think cooperation in between cross sector and teams, especially in the level of ministry, in the level of department, and so on. And last but not least is about the lack of infrastructure as well as skill for advanced technology. As I mentioned it earlier, the technology moves very fast. And for instance, in the computer technology, and then we can adopt it. That's the problem that facing by us. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude my presentation today. My last slide. This is about the humanizing education. As I mentioned earlier, Industry 4.0, Society 5.0, actually is moving towards producing a holistic students 6.0. 6.0 is based on ILEAP's model, as I explained before. And we are now trying to humanizing education, which is we are creating linkages between human and things through information. We are sharing that added values to the society. And number two is use of technological and innovative solutions to enhance the society of life become our responsibility. So we can avoid it by using technology in order to, we achieve, or in order we are going towards society 4.0. Okay, that's all my presentation. Holistic 6.0 or ILIPS is our DNA for industry ready towards society for 5.0. With this statement, I stop my presentation today. Once again, thank you very much to the organizers. Thank you very much for Pamulang. Thank you very much to the all the participants. Hopefully, we will benefit a bit or more or less about the my presentation. So thank you. Sekian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Haji Zahari Ismail, for the comprehensive, wow, it's very interesting topic and very interesting issue nowadays, such as the Society 5.0, because the main purpose of the Society 5.0 is to enhance people's quality life with the use of potentialities acquired by Industry 4.0. Okay, Dr. Haji Zahari Ismail, we are going to go to open session question and answer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. I will read it, the question for you. Okay. The question came from Fauzan from University of Andalas Padang. He asked a question: is it possible to have a training and skill development of refugees delivered by education institution or large companies such as MNC in partnership with the UNHCR? Today in Indonesia and Malaysia, we have a large number of Rohingya refugees. So it could reduce the burden of the protracted refugees issues. How would we be able to provide those skills considering the top 10 of future skills and job landscape? Datuk Zahari?
Okay. Thanks to the who's
Fauzan, Mr.
asked the
Fauzan.
question, Mr. Fauzan. Actually, basically, I can't answer it very well, this question, because it is involve the policy of the country, number one. Number two, we as educationists, we believe on education is free for all. And then maybe the very good question of how can we embed or we give the knowledge and skill to the refugees. This is a international agenda. It's tackled by somebody. And then what happened in the world now? This kind of program actually handled by the what we call society or some sort of badan-badan amal in the country. As a formal education, so far, for me, I didn't know either we have or not, but the boundaries there is the obstacle there is in terms of geography, boundaries of the country, and the policy of the country. So I hope that this kind of issue might be tabled internationally in terms of by time we have a discussion in between either Malaysia, Indonesia, or Asian countries under GWG or Joint Working Group between this country. This is what I mentioned earlier. It is an international issue and need to be solved by the country. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Datuk, for the answer. Hopefully that will be answered from Mr. Fauzan. From Retno, Miss Retno Wulandari. She asked why is it important to implement Society 5.0 concept in Word and university especially. Because when the best time to start it? Since we have still in learning and surviving in 4.0 right now. Dato'?
Okay, thanks to the Ms. Ratno. Normally, when we are giving education to the community, to the students, to the people, and so on, actually, three things come to us, which is we try to give them skills, and number two is knowledge, and number three is to develop their attitudes. So these three come to answer the question why. Why society 5.0? The society 4.0 needs the people by the time, the knowledgeable people, competent people, and then have their own attitudes. For instance, I give you one example. By the time, maybe in the next 5 years, we no need going to the hospital. We just stay at home and monitor our health through the computer. We just key in the information needed by the hospital, and let's say today, what is our blood pressure, what is our height, our weight, our condition, and so on. All the information we just key in through the computer. So the hospital just monitor our data in their office, and if we want a medicine, maybe they can just you are in this condition. You need to get this kind of medicine by giving instruction to the patient through the internet. This also can actually save many things. Some sort of cost, traveling from the house to the hospital, time, also taking from the house to the hospital, and maybe manpower from the hospital itself. And then maybe if we are too old, we don't have anybody to, in terms of assisting us, bringing us to the hospital, we can just stay at home, monitor our health, monitor our condition. And that's why we need society 4.0. Or in other words, that I can say in Malay is, we need a people who actually, with this cerdik computer, pandai menggunakan teknologi.
Hello? All right, it seems like Dr. Hajizar Ismail have
yang boleh membantu mereka untuk menjaga tahap in term of
All right, thank you very much, Dato', because your voice was breaking up, but it's clear now.
Really?
It's clear now.
Okay,
It's clear now.
Is
Right.
it,
The last question, Dato', if I may.
yeah, yes, okay.
Okay. Is from Mr. Fiki from the Pamlong University. He asked a question: how about our profession as a lecturer in the future? What kind of preparation we need so we will be a good lecturer in the future? Dato'?
Okay, thanks very much, Mr. Fiki. Mr. Ibno, ladies and gentlemen, the future lecturers. Okay. Very interesting question. Number one, we have to be ready. in terms of facing a new technology coming. And then number two, we have actually to transform ourselves from the old school to the current situation. So there is no longer attitude of no need to change, or we can say that cukuplah sekadar yang ada, and then actually we cannot run away from inculcating ourselves in the new media, in the new technology, and then by doing this, I think that we can adapt and adopt with the current situation. In other words, later in the future, of course, they will embark on a new technology. We have to facing this kind of new technology. We have to follow a new technology, and then we as a lecturer, as I mentioned it earlier, we have to be ready and transform ourselves. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Zahari. We have so many questions here, but as a last question, just a little bit question, if you may.
Okay.
How do you think that Indonesia can catch up with the improvement like Malaysia? As we know that Indonesian people are still low in Asia in performance. I mean, in terms of human resource development, that too.
Okay, we talk to the comparing between both countries, apple to apple, actually is not fair.
Okay.
Okay, some Malaysia is good, and some of the program or activities, Indonesia are far behind us. So as you said, you are far away, like compared to us. Actually, we are not. Let's say by today we can discuss it online, straight away, directly online. We are using the same media in terms of communication. Okay, that is the first thing. Secondly, we as both countries or Asian countries, we actually try to completing each other. Which area you have advantage or you're strong in that particular area, share with us. And we Malaysia, together also, develop our country and at the same time assist your country. I think this kind of platform, this seminar also can share what are we in advance and what are you are stronger in. We share and we completing each other, not become competing each other. That's the main issue. So better don't think either we are more advanced. If you're saying that, people in my country are saying that, why we are not the same or at par with Singapore, or we are not at par with the European countries. If we still have that kind of attitude, we are no way. So once again, be ready towards society 4.0. I pray that we all together at the same level, and as an academic, we develop our country together in order to facing new area, new normal, especially in the pandemic COVID-19. Once again, thank you very much. 1,000 apologize for any bad or any my mistake. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Haji Zahari Ismail. Let's give us some big applause to him. Hopefully, after this pandemic, COVID-19 over, we can see each other face to face, Dato.
Yeah,
it's been a long while since I
inshallah.
met you. Okay, thank you very much, Dato. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the second invited speaker, Dr. Haji Zahari Ismail from Malaysia. Okay, without further ado, we would like to call Dr. Professor Dr. Kirilova Galia Idozovna. Are you with us, Prof. Kirilova? Prof. Kiril, Prof. Kiril. Prof? Hello? Professor Kirilova Galia. Prof? Halo? Halo? Dobry. Dobry is in Jakarta, suko vremia. Idu bro troca Franza verdi. Hello? Hello? Okay. It seems like we have some kind of trouble with the internet line since we have 4 hours ahead timing between Jakarta and Moscow. So I just read the CV of Professor Kirilova. Okay, Professor Kirilova Galia Inuzovna was born in April 4, 1956, and she was entering Kazan State University at 1973 and working at the university since the day of her graduation at 1978. Since 1978 until 1989, she was teaching on computer center and working as an engineering and researcher, and now teaching in Institute of Psychology and Education, and even a part-time at the Faculty of Computing, Mathematics, and Cybernetics. She led research in the following areas, such as information, educational, environmental, electronic resource in training, analysis of meta information of education data, create and develop a scientific school which unite researchers of problem of dynamic and dynamization of the information educational environmental. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Dr. Kirilova from Kazan Federal State University.
Dear colleagues, I'd like to present the ideology of the distributed database of text, speech, and video data of educational process. The study was conducted at the Institute of Psychology and Education of Kazan Federal University. The overall composition and structure of the data are coordinated with the state of municipal and administrative system of management of educational organizations in Russia. The higher education is characterized by a combination of centralized management of education in universities and ensuring their administrative and economic freedom in the market economy. General education schools are subject to municipal subordination. Their transition to a centralized federal system of government now is under discussion. Here we are talking about sharing the distributed data to improve educational content and digital resources that is designed to serve the process of digitalizations in a Russian educational system. Features in this ideology include the stack metadata structure that provides inheritance and personalized liability in the educational information database, providing for text, audio, and video coding and secure storage by watermarks methods, taking into account the structure of the speech signal based on the algorithm of its selection, connecting and maintaining the work of an intelligent analyzer, engaging internal and external users and experts. A part of database blocks management of the educational organization, input and output data on subjects, academic discipline and training, feedback, and finally, block of expert evaluation. First, let's reveal in detail the ideology of the stated distributed database of text, speech, and video data on each of these blocks. Subsequently, donate the specifics of each block and its purpose. The overall structure, the selections of fixation features proposed for the data registration, ways and opportunities to use the collected data and algorithms for processing it. Consistently, we will follow the most significant position of the design blocks. Functional for the educational organization's stated management block in the database allows you to build administrative activities more clearly, especially when it's moved to remote mode. It is proposed to store and process not only the text documents, but also speech and video recordings to take into account the emotional and behavioral reactions of the team to management influences of the management. Discussion-making efficiency and improved educational content and digital resources are realized through the development of new algorithms and management scenarios that are based on data processing, including received at different historical stages in the different territories and organizations. First, the internal data structure is detailed for the educational organization's control unit. Text information is mainly used and processed in this block. Remote and workshops and becoming more popular in video conferencing mode. Video and speech information is analyzed in detail. It becomes possible to build management issues in a new way, including work with personnel. In this block, all involved participants require basically a standard personal data protection scheme. Second, for the block of data on the admission and release of students, it is important to fix the state of knowledge at the beginning and the end of the training. Forward-looking forecasts the requirement of the stakeholders of the educational process, the wishes of parents. The ideology uses text, speech, and video files for analysis of which by means of intelligence analyzer will allow not to treat a personal formula. It is advisable to make autobiographical videos of each participant in the educational process to record a story about plans for the future. For the group as a whole, it is useful to capture a common event. Recording such an event will allow to judge the communication capabilities of each member and identify the problems that have remained and solved during the training. Of course, not everyone is allowed to view the footage, but all information is processed and coded with the watermarks mechanism. Coded information can be provided to other subjects in a generalized and impersonal form such as pseudo-text, pseudo-photo, pseudo-video, and pseudosonic. Specific surnames and names received abstract designations. Photographic and visual images are smoothed by watermarks, lose their distinctive features, and are viewed as a matter filter. In the video, it is possible to superimpose images of abstract personality to represent the revealed typology of emotional style behavior. For the sound will be presented speech files with a mechanical sound that conveys the meaning, mood, and general dynamics of statement. Research of the most effective forms and methods of the teaching is relevant for the block of academic discipline and training. The open exchange of information encourages the borrowing of fragments of the educational materials by using them by different authors in their methodical materials. To ensure copyright and retain personal responsibility for the quality of educational materials in this ideology, implemented a stark organization metadata for recording the history of inheritance of information. Mandatory is the original source, such as a model curriculum, of the previous version of the document in question. In metadata, it is permissible to refer to multiple authors and significant versions. A feature of the described ideology is the ability to analyze the effectiveness of the learning on the basis of analysis of operational speech and motor reactions of students and school children. Fourth, for the feedback log, progress and results from students and school children are up to date. As the previous blog it is about recording the work of the teacher and the work of students. For example, the ability to view video content of the class allows for teachers to adjust educational methods depending on the reaction of students. For students to have the opportunity to view the recordings of classes at other times, assess their reactions and their work in class, discuss possible problems with friends and parents. An intelligent voice and video data analyzer builds a set of judgments about the causes of educational achievements and miscalculations. As the essence of the collected fragments of text, speech, and video data set for the intellectual analysis is to make into the account external and internal intervals and pause dynamics of change in rise and volume of the speech, comparison of the expected and real motor reactions, including active movement of hands, head, and body, smiles, and laughter. Some problems related to the reluctance and unpreparedness of the speaker and listener to work with educational material may be identified. The collected information provides additional knowledge about the progress and the results of the real educational process. Fifth, the peer review block includes the information of the expert community as well as the self-assessment of the organizers and participants of the training. Intelligent data processing and analysis mechanism can extract and process information, but it's not visible or if dropped beyond the competences of educators. Anonymized pseudo-information is available to review and study the work. Experience is generalized prompts as well as parametric tables, graphs, diagrams, judgments, and descriptions. Every activity allows to summarize and verify the assessment judgments formed during the work phase of each of the described blocks. Thus, as basis for the procedure for the information of the distributed database of educational purposes, an approach to collecting disparate data integrated from several sources is proposed. So, this approach is implemented on the basis of algorithms and scenarios, pre-processing and formalizing data replacement and protection, consolidation of data for sharing, development of appraisal judgments to improve educational content and digital resources carried out from the perspective of the information needed of educational subjects. Experimental qualitative and quantitative characteristics of the assessment of the necessary and sufficient amount of data for the reliable information of the recommendation of judgments by such system are significant for the development of the basic science. Here are some data of the evaluation of the effectiveness of the distributed database by the method of self-assessment. From the data, it is clear that the interest in working with the text is somewhat reduced, giving way to the video information. At the same time, the work with speech information, with exception of language training, is still less in demand. Also, the potential for this type of data is very high. To make it real, experimental data and effectiveness algorithm of intelligent system are needed. At each stage, the distributed database of text, speech, and video data of the educational process evolves in a spiral mode and is filled with the quantitative data and its intellectual mechanism are improved. The slide presents our previous work on this topic, as well as the first of used resources indexed in the database of scopes and work of science. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Kirilova. I'm really sorry because Professor Kirilova has a different time from Jakarta in Europe, so she just sent a video to be played at this moment. So I think this will be all. If you have any question to Prof. Kirilova, please write down your answer and send to me directly, and I will give to Prof. Kirilova to be answered by her. Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That will be all for the invited speaker for the ICOR-SH 2020. Thank you very much, and I will give it back to Miss Eka. Miss Eka?
All right, thank you, Pak Ibnu Sina. Well, thank you very much for the invited speakers for the fruitful knowledge, and also thanks again to Pak Ibnu. We hope all of the interesting topics in this forum will be beneficial for all of us. So, well, Pak Ibnu, I think we still have time, but unfortunately, yeah, because we finish all of the invited speakers, so I will end the session. And then later on, we will continue to parallel session. All right, Pak Ibnu. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we come to an end of the main agenda for ICORS and continue to parallel session. And then let us end this main agenda by saying Hamdalah. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Can I ask a question, Ibu?
Yeah, the session is ended, Pak.
I know, but I just want to know whether what time we start. Are we still on 13 or?
All right, let's give it back to Pak Ibnu as the moderator. Pak Ibnu, can you?
Okay, Mr. Saga, Pak Saga, please, if you have any question.
I just want to know exactly whether we will start at 13 p.m. or 1 p.m. or because we still have a lot of time now.
Okay, parallel session, you mean? Parallel session will be begin at 1 p.m.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Miss Eka?
All right. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, we will have a break until 1 o'clock. So for the parallel session is to be held on the 11 separated room and will be started at 1 p.m. And then we would like to invite all parallel presenters and participants to join with the session based on the schedule attached, including the meeting ID for joining the room. We kindly invite for all moderators in parallel session to fix the preparation and enter the room 30 minutes before the times and prepare for the equipment. Yeah, we thank you for your full attention and appreciation. Ameka Margianti Sagimin as a Master of Ceremony. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ya, mohon di-share jadwal untuk ICOR-SH ya. Bapak Ibu, berikut ini adalah link dan juga ID atau meeting ID sesuai dengan ruangannya masing-masing. So you can check your meeting ID. Ya, Bapak Ibu disilahkan untuk masuk ke ruangan masing-masing 30 menit mungkin ya, 30 menit sebelum parallel session dimulai. Jangan lupa untuk absensi, link absensi mohon di-share kembali di chat panitia. Pak Juheri mohon bisa di-share kembali link untuk absensi.